Hello and welcome to this tutorial on Photoshop Mix. So today's sort of tutorial is going to be looking at doing a Vogue challenge kind of style. This is the sort of template I've sort of gone with, and I'm going to show you a sort of rough guide of how to use Photoshop Mix so then you can do it on your iPad at home. So the first thing I need you to do is press that plus button and import your image that you've taken. And what we're going to do is duplicate the first layer. So you tap on that layer at the side and it will bring up the option to duplicate. And what we want to do is get rid of the background but keep our main subject. So to do that, at the bottom it says cut out. It's got a pair of scissors. We're going to tap on that and that will allow us to sort of remove the background and keep whatever object we want. So what we want is to click on the smart option and then you've got the plus at the top where it says add. So I'm just going to wipe over the little box, the little tub of sweets, and that's going to select only the tub of sweets and not the background. If you want to sort of go into sort of a bit more detail, you can pinch it and make it larger and sort of look to see if you missed anything. If you've kind of gone around and you've accidentally pressed something that you don't want to keep, there's a subtract button. So for example here, I don't want that. Subtract will allow you just to remove that, okay? So when you've done that, press the tick button and then you've made your separate layer with just the little tub on. Next, you're going to press the plus button and add some text. Type out Vogue, press enter, and then you can change the format at the bottom. Here you can change the size, style, the color, anything you don't need to sort of change it to make it personal. So click on font and there's loads of fonts you can choose, and that's essentially how to use the fonts and the text in Photoshop Mix. Okay, so once you've got that aligned, I want you to put that text layer in the middle between those two layers, and it should hide it behind your subject. That's kind of what Vogue does with their images. They kind of have the subject behind and you have Vogue kind of hidden in the background. For this time I kind of duplicated the text layer again, put it on top, and this time I played with the blending mode at the bottom. So if you wanted to do the same kind of thing, you can play with the blending mode and it can sort of change it so it blends into the background a bit better and it gives it a different look. But all I'm going to do is play with the opacity at the side and sort of fade it out a bit so you can still kind of see the words Vogue in the background. And once that's done, press the tick button. So when you're happy with that, I'm just going to add kind of like a little border background. So again, I'm going to press the plus button at the top and I'm going to choose color. And then on themes, there's got some nice colors you can choose from. I'm going to go with a nice dark kind of blue. And then I can cut out a little border. So I go on shape this time and make sure I click subtract. Again, you've got loads of shapes you could choose from, but you don't have add, you want subtract. So you're removing things you don't need. So go on subtract, make my box, and then when you're ready with that and you're happy with that sort of line, press the tick button and it will remove everything that's inside that box. So the last thing I want to do is give it some sort of like indie kind of color grading, so it looks a bit like a fashion magazine. So I'm going to choose another color. I'm going to go with a light blue this time, and I'm going to go on blending options, and then I'm going to go with difference. So difference looks really weird on its own, but when we play with the opacity and bring that down, it gives it that sort of magazine Vogue kind of look that we're trying to go for. So that once you've played around with that and you're kind of happy with that, again there's a thing called adjustments that you could probably click on your layers and play around with the colors that way, but I find this way is a lot quicker for me. And the last thing I'm going to do is click on that border line that I've made, and then I'm going to play around with the opacity there and the blending options to make it kind of slightly faded. And that's it. That's essentially how to use Photoshop Mix. It's quite basic, it's quite limited, but for your iPad it works a treat. The last thing you just need to know is how to export your work. So at the top right, there's a little share button. You press that with the little arrow, and then you just put share, and you can stick it straight onto Shobi. or save in your camera roll. It's up to you. And that's the tutorial. Okay, good luck, and I'll speak to you guys next time.